What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns here, and IGN has dropped yet another exclusive article concerning the next-gen version of Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One November 18th in less than 2 weeks, and of course PC in January 2015. The second of three articles, by the way, so they have one more article coming up sometime later on this week. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe Friday. I guess we'll find out. Anyways, the premise of this article, as we check out these screenshots, courtesy of IGN and CVG, is concerning the past year Rockstar has spent basically rebuilding Grand Theft Auto 5 from the ground up just for the next-gen consoles, for the PS4, for the Xbox One, and of course, PC. And one thing that I can confirm right now is a lot of people have been wanting additional customization features on their rides. One thing you're going to be able to do is add apparently neon lights underneath your vehicles, your whips, your cars, your trucks, whatever. As the first sentence shows, the new neons beneath Franklin's Pegassi's Zentorno bake the asphalt below in a soft yellow glow. So the photo that you're seeing right now with the Zentorno with the red light underneath it confirms that we're going to have this option for your vehicles coming up in Grand Theft Auto 5 on next gen. So that's going to please a lot of people. Another thing you're going to be able to do if you have a PlayStation 4 is it's going to be very easy for you to switch between first and second simply by hitting the touchpad. So that's how you're going to be able to do it on PlayStation 4. There's no mention how you'll be able to accomplish this feat for the Xbox One, but I'm sure it's going to be just as easy. But anyways, it just amazes me going over this article, and you can read it yourself, by the way, linked in the description section, how much effort and time Rockstar spent going deep into Grand Theft Auto 5, which was an awesome game, by the way, and they made it even awesomer, if you believe that. I mean, it's crazy. And of course, I just am amazed by these photos about how much better this game's going to look. By the way, there's also a video at the top of the article showing you the comparison between the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4 versions of Grand Theft Auto 5. Check that out yourself. It's pretty cool. It's sweet. I mean, it's not major, okay? It's not like over the top, like, wow, but when you look at it, and you've played Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online for the past year like I have, you can see the difference. You can see how the draw distance affects the game, how you can actually have a better view of things in this version that's coming out November 18th than you did in the previous installment. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 was obviously phenomenal. But this is just, I don't know how Rockstar did it, but this just once again proves that they're one of the best gaming developing companies out there. So here's a couple quotes from Rockstar. We spent more hours on this than most games get from start to finish. That's what Rockstar art director Aaron Gerbor said. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize to Aaron. I'm sorry. He also discussed the sheer volume of work as the main similarity between bringing Grand Theft Auto 5 to next generation consoles and PC, basically making the game from scratch once again. Making it from scratch. That's crazy. Quote unquote, on the art side, we've taken another look at every asset of the game, from additional dressing and detailing from the world to looking at every prop and increasing their resolution, or even starting from scratch where appropriate. The work for first person pushed this even further, making us address areas we would not normally have to, address. Every weapon has been entirely redone with far, far more detail. Almost every animation has been redone. Every car has been modeled with higher level of detail and full interior, and the world as a whole has had a much more detail added to it than the previous version of Grand Theft Auto 5. That is insane. Plus, they talk about how there's like letters and like things just written all over the place in various apartments and hotels that in the previous version of the game you really couldn't read it. Now you can actually go in first person and actually read every little thing, like things on the wall and bathrooms, and how dank and grimy hotels are, like on the outskirts of Sandy Shores, for example. You just see the despair and how grimy it is. Makes you really, really not want to stay there. And of course, he continues, it's a core belief here that all the little details add together into something way more than the sum of their parts. And that's something I have appreciated about Rockstar. Every time they come out with a new game, they always try and up the stakes. You know, from the very first games back in the late 90s, before they were Rockstar, with the top-down Grand Theft Auto 5 games, 1 and 2. Then, of course, Grand Theft Auto 3. Then you saw how much better Grand Theft Auto Vice City was. Then, of course, how phenomenal Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was compared to the previous two installments. And then, of course, Grand Theft Auto 4 a few years back, and now Grand Theft Auto 5 a year ago. And the re-release of Grand Theft Auto 5 is just kicking it up a notch. It's just crazy. Quote unquote, as always, we like the little things. Yeah, that's right. They love the little things. This is what I really do enjoy about this. And of course, they add a sort of a intimate level of experience that pushes it way beyond what you normally expect to see. There's something incredible about running around this world in first person, glancing down at Trevor's hands, now your hands, seeing the tattoos, the dirt under his nails, putting on a pair of sunglasses, and watching as the screen tints to match their colors. So, yesterday, that was one of the things I talked about when I was doing commentary on the trailer, is that I wondered what it would look like by putting on a pair of sunglasses. Because there's a scene where it's clear that as Michael, he's wearing the scuba mask. And I was wondering what it would look like if you had to put on a pair of glasses as Franklin, Michael, or Trevor, or perhaps also in Grand Theft Auto Online, which of course is going to apparently be released the day of Grand Theft Auto 5. So unlike last year where we had to wait a few weeks to start playing Grand Theft Auto Online for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, according to IGN, we're also going to be playing Grand Theft Auto Online the day of launch for Grand Theft Auto 5 Story Mode on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which is really, really awesome, especially for a lot of us online vets who have been playing the game, for the past year now. And we just want to get back in online, even though we're already in online, and just see the difference. That's really what I want to see. I want to see what all is in online that we can experience and we can enjoy and take in that's lacking in the previous versions on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Even though those versions are a lot of fun still, it's just going to be just crazy to imagine what is waiting for us on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Continuing, there's something incredible about running around in this world in first person. Like I mentioned, looking at Trevor's hands, and then of course the glasses. You put on the sunglasses, and it matches the tint of the glasses you're on. So if you have a green pair of sunglasses, apparently it's going to be green. If it's a darker tint, it's going to be darker. Stealing a car, watching as your fingers hotwire it, then glance up to see the dash kick into life and the rev counter jump as you floor it, and the ABS light flicker on as you skid around corners. That is going to be so sweet. And I'm not really in the first person games, but I know a lot of folks out there that play Battlefield and of course Call of Duty that have been hesitant about jumping into Grand Theft Auto because they prefer first-person games. And that's one thing I liked about Skyrim, the ability to switch back and forth. If you want to play it first-person, that's cool, but you can also play it third-person, or you can jump back and forth like I enjoyed doing. Continuing, quote-unquote, maybe heading over to the airport police giving chase, glancing down and noticing that the owner has left an old cup and some cigarettes in the ashtray. You pull up to the airport, take note of the song playing on the radio's display on your dash, drive out into the plane and the helicopter, watching as you pull your helmet on and the HUD springs into gear, climbing higher and higher, looking at your HUD moves with your head and the various dials, compasses, warning lights, artificial horizon, and every other detail moves and blinks on your helicopter's control panel. That is epic. I know I said epic a lot yesterday, but yes, I'm saying it again. Sweeping over the city where all these added lights, increased draw distances, complete with cars on distant freeways, the atmospheric fog adds up to the city. That's way more live than you've seen before. Then up higher, out the door, skydiving, then opening your parachute, looking up at your hands as they pull the cords, guiding you down onto the rooftop. It's like a whole new experience. And of course, you can click third person. That's right. You can switch back and forth in this game. And that's one thing I really do appreciate from Rockstar is the fact that Some people were originally thinking that, oh, is this just going to be strictly first person? No, 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 no. If you love playing Grand Theft Auto 5 and the Grand Theft Auto series in third person, and you feel uncomfortable doing it in first person, you can simply switch back to third person, and they're going to have it to where you can customize it. Where if you would prefer driving in first person but running around in third person, or vice versa, you're going to be able to customize those features. If you want to duck and cover in first person or third person, it'll automatically do that. So, I mean, I just can't wait to get a hold of this game. It's just going to be great. Plus, the detail, the damage. I mean, we talked about the damage on Trevor's cell phone yesterday. Pretty clear that, Trevor's an angry guy, and he's probably tossed his phone against the wall once or twice or stepped on it or something. Oh, man, it's just great. I mean, and the touchpad, of course, on the PlayStation 4, that's how you're going to be able to switch back and forth, as we mentioned, between first and third. And you're going to be able to hear the police chatter via the speaker on your PlayStation 4 controller. So that's going to be even more, I don't know what the word is. I mean, it's just going to feel like it's just there around you, like you're in that world. I mean, short of putting on like a 3D headset like the Oculus, I mean, this is as close as it gets to actually being in San Andreas, being in Los Santos or Sandy Shores or roaming around Blaine County. I just can't believe this. Plus the details. The spider cracks branch out from bullet holes on the windshield. You can glance over your shoulder across the back seats through the rear glass, and man, you can see the cops, coming at you from behind. Oh man, it's going to be like a freaking movie. It's going to be epic. I know, I just said that a few minutes ago. Quote unquote, we took each individual piece and looked at how much further we could polish it. Nothing about this process is automatic. And of course, the team is going in by hand, looking at every aspect of the game, seeing how we could apply additional memory or additional processing power. A really good example is the lighting and partial effects. We went in and hand placed them in very specific ways in areas that we thought could benefit and surprise the player, like fireflies at night on the countryside or ambient light pollution over Los Santos at night. We added extra details to the world where it made sense, and we take a look into the interior of Trevor's truck, for example, at your own risk. And it basically looks as you imagine. So who knows what the hell is going to be in Trevor's truck when you're looking around. Because his truck does change in story mode. In case you were wondering, like near the end of the game, he has that teddy bear. I mean, I'm not going to say anything else about the teddy bear, but it eventually ends up on the front of Trevor's truck on both the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox versions of the game. So, yeah. It's just like his trailer, it changes over time. So, yeah, I just love the amount of effort and detail Rockstar puts into their games, and they're definitely showing it in spades for Grand Theft Auto 5 on Next Gen. Continuing, I think we had a great starting point, but that's where it was, a start, which has us let the drill down into a much more detail and solidity to hone everything well beyond the point we normally would be happy with and bringing it to a whole new level. Oh man, it's just great. It's more than a quick texture upres. It feels like the world has come into focus. It runs smoother, it plays smoother. It feels like it has really, really evolved into something so much more. And he goes on talking about how he loves the quality of playing in first person and the way it really connects you to the world. He loves how it's been, basically the idea of living in this world even fuller than in the previous version of this game, playing the same missions for 5 years and between changes across the engine. Because they've been working on this game for a while, Rockstar has, a long time, even before they went back and redid it over the past 12 months. And how he just enjoys it now even more so. It just feels so familiar, yet it has a new feeling, a new vibe to it. And of course, they talk about Red Dead Redemption, another excellent game made by Rockstar. From Red Dead Redemption, we knew that the world gains by adding vegetation. As soon as we saw the world with weeds and grass added to it, it really came to life for us in a new way. It softened the edges, and it really does so much to make the world feel less digital and exact. It's something that as an art team we focus on a lot. We break up the hard edges, we break up the straight lines, and you get something much more real. We then updated all of our bushes, our plants, our trees with much more detail, equivalence, and then worked up much more advanced wind systems so that the branches and leaves flow more realistically. We worked on a layered approach to the grass, starting with hand-placed weeds along with the bottom of fences and walls, complete with little bits of litter trapped in between. Then we layered the base level of grasses and various types over the world. This gave us a base layer that looked pretty good. Then we built out a set of feature plants, flowering grasses, taller plants, and then, of course, we layered tops, paying attention to dropping in a natural way, following on how these plants can spread and grow. Then beyond that, we layered the high-frequency details, small stones, brown leaves, and the city litter and like. Man, this is just great. I mean, I'm trying to go over as much of this article as possible without putting you to sleep or going too long, so I do apologize. And once again, you can go read this article for yourself. And there's just a lot in here, and I'm just probably scratching the surface. I'm not doing it real justice here, but we'll continue. Our lighting and graphics team have made a lot of changes to all that give the world more realism, and it's just to ensure that the world itself feels more vital and alive. This will dive a little into more technical areas, but we have a much improved screen space ambient occlusion, which is SSAO solution that gives us far more solidity than we had before. Most lights now have dynamic shadows, and there are modeled spread patterns on cars, headlights, and many of our place lights. Basically, this is an effect when light is refracted through another material, like water in a pool, or in this case, glass in the front of a bulb. Shadows now cast through the fog itself, so we see lovely shafts of light, cutscene lighting, and much of the city lighting was entirely redone. We have massively upgraded reflections, and it's especially noticeable when all the neon and the building lights reflected in the cars at night. We have a lot more fog going on, whether it's atmospheric glow of building lights in the sky at night, or the way the lights in general dissipate in the foggy weather. When it begins to rain, these reflections are more noticeable in the puddles and the rain itself. Now refracts the light around it. I mean, this is just, oh man, I need a cigarette. And I don't even smoke. The rendering of all this world, it will draw distance, is going to be several times what it was before, with the way more visual detail and movement away further into distance, with all the more partial effects from the drips of rain from the canopy to the smoke from the industrial chimney, the swirl of litter in the alley on a windy day, or the way the rooftop AC units, which now have visible turning fans, pump out vapor. Many of these new partial systems now receive sometimes cast shadows. All of this rendering is way better now. Man, they also talk about how cool the railgun is. And basically, it's kind of like, I guess, a shotgun in a sense, and it has like a hum to it. And it takes a few minutes to load, but it has the ability to take helicopters and planes and jets out of the sky. So I think it's definitely going to be a heavy weapon. Now the question is, and it hasn't been answered yet, are these things that are coming for the returning players like the Duke of Death, the Railgun, the Dodo Seaplane, and of course the Kraken sub. Are those things going to be in Grand Theft Auto Online? Are they going to be exclusively for story mode? That's one thing that Rockstar has yet to answer. So that's something I'm very curious about. But one thing that you may have noticed in one of the photos already, if not, it's coming up soon, is the Duke is back. That's right, the Duke's the muscle car. Yes, so we got the Dukes in there. We also got the Stallion, as we've talked about a week or so ago. So several muscle cars that I love from Grand Theft Auto 4 coming back to Grand Theft Auto 5. Plus, a lot of the DLC vehicles that we got, like the Huntley S, the Zentorno, and of course the Warner and others. You're now going to see them driving around Los Santos and San Andreas as well. And you probably won't be able to put them in your garage because they're considered hot vehicles. You'll actually have to buy those, just like we've had to do from the various vehicle websites that are on your phone. Continuing, quote unquote, we always try to make big, expansive games, and we always try to fill them with massive amounts of things for players to find, whether it's through playing missions or simply stumbling on surprising little details in the world itself. To us, they are places as much as they are games. We're used to having some insane amount of work ahead of us. Working on this has been a double-edged sword. It's always fun to roll off a project and start something new, but it's also amazing to take something you're proud of and that you spent long squeezing every little bit you've gotten into it, and then suddenly you have this opportunity to push it to so much more. to take it even further than they already did with Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. This is an amazing thing. I'm incredibly proud of the work that the team has achieved, and it feels like a giant leap rather than a tentative step into the next generation. So, yeah, this is not just basically a half-ass attempt to bring Grand Theft Auto 5 to next gen. This is like going balls to the wall. And of course, Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One November 18th, and PC January 2015. Once again, you can check out the article below in the description section. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about this? Does this get you more excited, more pumped about getting Grand Theft Auto 5 for next gen? Were you on the fence? Because I can understand that, because it's kind of sort of the same game, and yet it's not at the same time. So let me know below in the comment section. Are you planning on getting Grand Theft Auto 5 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC? Which console are you going to pick? Are you going to try and do all three like I am? Going to go the hat trick route? Of course, if you enjoyed the video, if you found it informative, hit the like button. Be sure and check out my channel for daily content. I post awesome stuff 7 days a week. And if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. It really does help my gaming channel grow. You can follow me on Twitter. You can like me on Facebook, both linked in the description section. And as always, thanks for watching.